Hello. I feel like I should apologise initially because we've all had a drink now. I would love to read you some smut if I had it in me, but I don't. So this is going to be a little bit melancholy for 5 minutes, and then I'll shut up, and then I'm sure things will get more exciting there. Here we go. I'm going to read from a novella that I'm working on called I'll Be Star and You Be Kathleen, which is based on F. Scott Fitzgerald's little unfinished outline for The Last Tycoon. And the section I'm going to read from is from a broader thing called Nashville, which happens earlier on. Anyway, this is about cars and cane sugar. With the windows closed, forming that kind of dust translucent skin under that medial light, neither of them could hear the motor. You could search for connotes, but all that was there was silence, acres of it. Me, now metrics me, you are of course, as you are, some kind of imperial subject. The driver to the passive passenger beside you. As we move, we are dealing in silence, no longer in distances. But it will become a joke on the concrete, it will drift, it will bleed in toward a kind of formalism, a lookbook of 21st century interpretations of 20th century experiments. Morally, his were always as empty as everybody else's, and it would be horrific. That kind of thing would get to him more than the rest of us, but only when imagining himself in motion, never dreaming of flight, trying to avoid his questions. Trying to avoid his questions before taking the trip, he would like to drive late at night, watching those signs that were themselves a kind of genetic grammar. You are thinking, they would say, of adopting a highway, they would say, progenitor to a root, one that would grow on as a child, on greener pastures. The lights would flicker here, 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 and here. Gently they would march the passage of time. At 1/25th of a second we had a glimpse, and at 25 we had the Mississippi. On, click, click, click. Glimmering again like a morning and seeing the light on the river like oil on water. It was all a fantasy at any rate, at any pace, regardless of the destination. You are thinking of adopting a highway, of finding the room to breathe. The highway would move us beyond the duplicative, and there we would find him, traditionally masculine at the wheel. He has fashioned himself as a fetish made of tar, looking to take comfort in skin. Fooling with memory, he would be collating a better way to tell and retell. Dance was always a coherent notion. Maybe all of his lovers could have been conceived of as choreographers insofar as a dictation of time, a dictation of movement, a swift sleight of hand for the sonographer, swallows of breath, intakes and little in the way of exhalation. What would that say about anything at all? There'd be a purity. There's purity involved with dance, twofold permanently. A move and a backward move. There was a purity that would spin, move against itself, and with a quiet sense of its own move, it would enjoy its own level of maturation. It is getting older. We'll all level limbs in time to music, the tap of a heel, a gentle pad of footsteps, a choice moment of depth being a choice moment of decline, more royal crown than Coca-Cola, romantic like a mountain dew. He's imagining here that he would adopt a highway so as he could dance with a sense of light, now barrel rolling like a wave as each hour of the day would refract against the asphalt, shaped by the horizon. It would designate a mutual sense of contingency and independence. They were still moving, nobody would care. Dance was a coherent notion. Calling himself a writer was nothing but claiming a renewed stance as a verb, and it would change the way that he would look at other people. There was nothing over there but a schematic for a total disassociation. It would have been distracting for a week, a month, or potentially more. The danger is, or was, to go on and appropriate in the neatness of identifications. The lights would flicker. Here, here, and here. Gentle premonition, the adumbration of things and other bodies, and signs indicative of places that would line the road out there, that much further than the eye could see with confidence or clarity. The escape had been modelled as a reference point. Talking on John Updike, as he often would, he'd see Rabbit headed for a white pillar-like sun. He'd see Rabbit in a deferential seated position. Maybe Rabbit is immutable, or as the text would have it archly, Rabbit growing tired. He thought, as Updike had thrown through Harry's mouth, that the country, shore to shore, was all the same, but that movement would perhaps undo. But there was something that couldn't be captured, no exit that could be effectuated, simply forwards and an onward move. He'd fallen in love with the past tense, and beyond that, there'd be nothing but him in the autumn. Later on, it would be January, and here he'd be recognizing nothing but himself in that tonal shift. What was he to Hecuba, baby? If his mind would wander, and if his life could be conceived of as one better lived in pictures, his was then a ballroom dress, a forward and back and close, and then into things as though moving like a main road. A quick life is an aphorism, a slow day is a reader who, heralding an imbrication of authorial names and types, would spoken flat over four walls, resembling a roof of right and left hands with the fingers spread for not letting ink hit paper for a month now. He remembered reading somewhere of someone prefiguring hands as wild birds. What did he think to that? The bird was never an inn unless he could tie it down, examine it with all its attendants, and take his aviary and term it with his own name. But it did not matter. Didn't care. It'd be a photograph intended as a public word with no cognizance of its recourse as a recalcitrant copy. A car big and fat like a white whale, a boat made of paper folds.